Steph Stricklen with GeekWire Studios here at AWS reInvent, introducing you right now to two very special guests. I'm grateful for your time, gentlemen. Let's get right to it. First, I will introduce you to Kalyan Kumar, goes by KK, by the way, the Global CTO and Head of Ecosystems at HCLTech and Chief Product Officer for HCL Software, as well as Prabhakar Appana, the Global Head of AWS Ecosystem Business Unit at HCLTech. Gentlemen, thank you for making the time.
Thank you, pleasure to be here.
These conferences are so jam-packed. How has it been for you coming in and just seeing the floor and having a chance to conduct some business and have some important meetings?
Yeah, I think the way I really look at these conferences is it's one place where the whole ecosystem is around. So you want to meet people in context. So you could really pack a lot in a day and a half. So like I do 15-minute meetings, and then in between definitely make sure the key announcements around the keynote, and also meeting some of the partner execs in AWS and some of the engineering and the product teams and a lot of our other partners. This is a very unique place where you can get them together.
One of the things that comes with cloud migration and deployment of all of the solutions that are available is the amount of data that is now available to companies. And at times, the data itself becomes overwhelming. From an analytics standpoint, how does your company help step in and make that transition, particularly with generative AI as well, right? Offering even more opportunities for companies to grow. How do you access that?
So if you step back and look at what happened in cloud, it was all about apps.
Yes.
But somewhere I think the trick got, I would say, is many of the enterprises in the rush to migrating applications to cloud, just like you had an app modernization, app migration strategy, building a data engineering layer, ability to manage data pipeline, data lifecycle end to end, and look at data holistically and not in silos. That's the most important thing. You need to annotate, tag, manage data pipelines, curate the data, make sure they are available in the right parts. Apps can consume data in different parts, but how do you manage data lifecycle? That's the key. And whether it's AI or subset of AI is Gen AI, you need to have right data strategy and data engineering to help this. All of this is going to be a nightmare for customers, because before you could control who could access an app, if you can't control how the data is accessed by different algorithms and different data pipeline capability, you're going to be managing a very different problem set. So that's where we really think data engineering is the most foundational element for solving this whole complexity.
I love that you talked about the infancy of the cloud, and we can see certainly here at reInvent how much it has become, it's evolved and become more sophisticated. Do you view AI as being truly disruptive in this space right now?
Absolutely, right? So if you look at every industry, and I'll just take a couple of minutes in terms of our partnership enhancement as well. So with AWS, what we have announced is we will empower 50,000 of our workforce, developers and engineers, on generative AI, AWS generative AI. It's a big commitment. The reason why we did that is to elevate our partnership and as well as show the commitment on the market in terms of what we want to do and what we are hearing from the clients. Every industry is going through that change, right? So, and to actually help the client in that change, you as a GSI partner, along with AWS, there is a big responsibility in terms of constructing and story for the client. And that's where the generative AI comes in, right? So you build those specific accelerators, solutions, industry POCs, proof of concepts and point of views, so that the client would look at that and see how this specific case could help in his industry. So we are working with various vertical industry groups, be it financial services, insurance, life sciences, manufacturing, telco, and various divisions to look at the possible applications of generative AI and how we can help those clients accelerate cloud adoption, digital transformation, and improve the productivity, right? So there is a whole lot of things which we are doing, and I'm very confident that, for the next few years, the talk of the town, generative AI, is going to be there. And especially now with Amazon Q coming in, there is more and more work for us to do as a GSI partner, which could help clients accelerate their cloud journey.
Can you provide me, you mentioned all the verticals, so you can choose one. Can you give me a real use case so I have a better understanding?
So let me take an example in one of our software products. We have the HCL Marketing Cloud, and which is powered by our Unica platform. We do massive hyperscale segmentation of users. One of the use cases which we have is, email marketing. You send emails. Today you get like a very templatized email. So what we've done is, one of our modules, which is in Interact and in Deliver, we pick up the profile data on whom we want to target. Because we can do to a segment of one, we can pick, I want to send a campaign to Steph, but I will personalize this using generative AI rather than using an email campaign manager to personalize a message based on your profile segment, what you want to do. And then when you respond back, that response is also using Gen AI, we're able to read the intent, and then we're able to engage a response back before we could hand you over to a potential prospect management. Now this takes away thousands of hours of mundane work which people do on templatization, but doing hyper-personalization. So this is an example of how you take Gen AI, embed it into a product. So you don't need to put Gen AI into people's faces. You have to give the outcome of what Gen AI drives or AI capability drives. This is an example. Second one, I'll just give you one more very interesting use case, is there is so many language models which are available out there. So we've built a product that's coming out in GA. It's called Prompto. It's called HCL Prompto. It's a prompt orchestrator. So based on the type of question you put in, it can help you route it to the right type of a language model across multiple clouds. It supports Amazon's Bedrock and a lot of the other models, but the real value is that there is a big cost associated with training, managing all of these language models. It can run amok if you don't get it right. So creating some kind of a prompt orchestrator layer which allows the developers to still do what they want to do, but you're somewhere getting some level of, I would say, the FinOps discipline back into LLM.
I mean, from an industry perspective, right, we have several adoptions. Now we are working with some of the banks in their mortgage processing. So your entire mortgage process will be automated with Gen AI ROBs, and the bots where we use that data and help the client choose the right mortgage, right? And if you look at the insurance claims, how can Gen AI help in the, giving the right direction for the end user, customer, and as well as the agent to help that customer accelerate the claims processing, right? Healthcare, if you want to book your appointment, and especially within UK, it takes quite a lot of time to schedule anything. So what level of details that a person need to have that can be made available with the GPs, general practitioners and doctors, so that they can advise the patients much more efficient way with the history behind. So there are various applications of generative AI which we are currently working with each of those industries, right? I think it's going to be interesting, next few years in terms of how this will be industrialized to actually help and drive more efficiencies for the client.
At the end of everything we talked about, there are real people out in the world who will benefit from this technology if it's deployed appropriately. Let me ask you finally to talk a little bit about how important good sort of society stewardship is for your company in particular.
So if you really look at the core of HCLTech and the larger HCL as the group, people centricity is a very, very important thing. What we do is, how can we really supercharge progress for our customers, but also across our employees and also the people and supporting the planet. Same thing in our software business, responsibility and ethics is baked into the code, because as you are creating such systems which help human make decisions, you need to make sure that you are able to manage the outcome and also know what's happening and be able to audit trail and manage it. I think there is two aspects to the whole. Is one big myth around there'll be so many jobs which will get automated. It's not jobs, it's tasks which get automated. People perform a lot of tasks, which means you can actually upskill. Like today, AWS announced that they're going to, by 2025, they're going to skill 29 million people on cloud skills. there is such a dearth of demand. So I would really say we have a challenge where we need to skill, reskill, learn, unlearn, and relearn, and help people do that whole journey. Because if we take collectively as a responsibility as an ecosystem, as an industry, of helping people start from the schooling, the way you educate, right? Schools to universities, or what you want to train, enable, and also retool existing people, there is huge opportunity out there to free up people on a lot of these aspects. So that's where I really see this whole thing moving.
I think I would add sustainability as another angle, right? So to what KK said. So we have a philosophy within HCLTech, which is act, pact, and impact. So we keep sustainability agenda at the center. So we spoke about generative AI and their applications and normal cloud adoption, digitization to the clients, but with an underlying philosophy of keeping the sustainability aspect. So how sustainable your solutions you're building, how sustainable your code you're developing, how sustainable and responsible for the activities that you impact the client and the your surroundings. That's quite important, right? So that's one of our core philosophies. And in every technology architecture and discussions, what we ensure is keep these aspects as the underlying fabric and build on top of it, so that whatever you build, there needs to be sustainable for a long-term future. You don't want to do something wrong and come back and correct it, but you do something, you take time, build in a sustainable way, so that this can go for a longer journey. So that's something which is very unique, that we, from an HCLTech perspective, as a philosophy which we inculcate internally, educate internally, and also help clients position that.
It's both innovative and foundational, all at the same time. Prabhakar, thank you very much. KK, thank you very much with HCLTech. Everyone, I'm Steph Stricklen. You are watching GeekWire Studios.